This imagery is looking so heavily at night. This roller coaster ride gon' forever change your life. Strap your seatbelt, nigga, and get ready for this fight. Yeah, on flights, on flights. That's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. In the trap house, I be working things that I be serving. Got up in the sky like they was surfing. Yeah, on flights, on flights. That's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. Take your girl behind the curtains. Evil spirits lurking and shit. Got the pretty bitches talking. Yeah, I'm the man in the streets. I'ma tell you now, pilot man on the beach. If I ain't from this planet, I got planet like a plan. If I fell out the sky, I would never land on my feet. Yeah. What you mean?
What I mean is I ain't no Mormon. I ain't going.
This crystal clean. Just open up your eyes, I hope you niggas see. This world a bigger ocean than you in the sea. Yeah, where we floating? Yeah, just thought I had a thought this shit was hurting. I got voices in my ear sounding like burners. Like you heard it, playboy, when you living in the water, coming like a mermaid. Yeah, sign shit. Yeah, you know you living like sometimes that ain't right. Disappearing out of place like this nigga get high. Hey, flights, RJ Jewelry, yeah, oh God, I'ma bring light, nigga. On flights, on flights. That's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. In the trap house, I be working things that I be serving. Got them in the sky like they was surfing. Yeah, on flights. On flights. That's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. Take your girl behind the curtains. Evil spirits lurking and shit. Got the pretty bitches talking. Yeah, the pilot man, you know the coolest folk. Yeah, might pull up in a fucking UFO. You niggas need to watch your UFO. Don't give a flying for both of you know. No mistletoe, but she be missing me, yeah. We'll be together, now this shit complete. Do all the driver, we be sipping tea. And then she gonna let me hit them cheeks. Your girl gonna shake that ass, yeah. Your girl gonna make that cash, yeah. Your girl gonna bring it back, yeah. You know I'm gonna make it last, yeah. I'm checking if she got some common sense, got some good head. But she ain't really got no scholarship, but she get bread. And she ain't really with that partnership, just cause she dance. Her kids like grandma, so they father crib. Twinkle little skirt, lit, yeah. All of us is high. You might say we falling from the sky. Goddamn line says all up in your mind. If you wanna see the seas in the water up your eyes, yeah. You got no current, who exhausted on your vibe. The reason why you calling all the time, just a lost spirit. You ain't got no hobby or a vibe. I'm the dropper out of all of them alive. And you know that on flights. On flights, that's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. In the trap house, I be working things that I be serving. Got them in the sky like they was surfing, yeah. On flights, on flights. That's on flights. I put that on flights. Flight boss, bitch. Take your girl behind the curtains. Evil spirits lurking and shit. Got the pretty bitches talking, yeah. Flights, 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 flights.
Don't know for that. Thanks for the cash app. For I couldn't see the name fast. I just seen it as like a glimpse in space. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Now, we're going to get into some good spiritual stuff right now so you can know about emanations and you can know about how to see things within the atmosphere. Once upon a time, you was a twinkly star in the atmosphere, but that star may not have been seen because it wasn't emanated as bright enough, but it was still within the atmosphere, aka just the size enough for you to be inside of it as a mentality and it to be just as light in the density level as wind, air. And then that first form of body, you know, is light enough for you to go in other people's wind or lighter form or mentality. And it's the same way how you got here. So we all come here. So you understand that. We have no science or no backing of anything of you going somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So we know there's a cycle system of you coming here. And within that cycle system, it's a bunch of forms. And how you make that formula is basically the construction and mathematical procedure of how you come here mentally and physically. So we're going to make these things understandable. And even when we get into ancient, not folklore, but storytelling about when you're going out drifting, when you're about yourself and you're doing things, but the things that's on your mind has a correspondence to the environment and the atmosphere you're within. Just like once upon a time, you was a twinkly little star, a mind that a spirit had emanated to be inside of, and you was out in the environment within the atmosphere being received. So when you got a lot of procedures that you know how to look at things piece by piece, this gives you a broad imagination, but it also gives you a behind the scenes lens within the connection of the environment that you are in, so you can actually keep track of what spirits you're dealing with, because you're always around billions and trillions of spirits. Each particle within the wind is a body that a spirit have inhabited, or will be no wind, because the spirit didn't emanate no consciousness, that when a collection of wind come together, all those temperatures produces the emanation that we call a light, or a sun, or an imagination, or a dream that now can condense and is thick enough to fusion, friction, and pressure and become an organ. And that's creating from the inside out. But from this mechanism of looking at it like a world, utilizing a world that you're probably familiar with to make it make sense. So when you go there, you're just looking at it as an essence, and you know that you're in a cycle system of being able to take them forms and make a different formula to be able to formulate with the infusion, friction, and pressure in reality. See what I'm saying? So this is where the whole concept of even being able to be impacted come from. And if you don't have no energy, attraction, influence, your impactful energy have to be subsidiary concepts to even get it. AKA may have to use force, may have to use manipulation, or a lot of individuals may just suffer not getting the attention due to the fact of them not being able to develop any form of attraction. So their way of getting it may be rebellious, negative, or maybe want to just get rid of themselves, and that lead into the train of thought and line of reasoning of an individual who want to kill themselves also. So understanding this stimuli and knowing what you're dealing with, and you're never alone, will also keep you ahead of the game, so you stay formulated in your kind of circumstance within the current form that you're already in, because it's all about formation, baby. You know what I'm saying? All about formation. You know what I'm saying? And when you understand formation, now you're getting into the mind of a medicine man. Now you're getting into the mind of a medicine woman. You know what I'm saying? Because with that curriculum, you get to formulate all kind of chemistries. You can make an alchemy, produce it, find things in nature, or do things in nature that may appear to be miraculous, but goddamn, it was healing. Whether it was healing mentally or physically, whether it was prophesying or not. Wherever you was wrong at, somewhere down the line you was right. This even takes us into, soul food and everything of that nature, because just the presence that your spirit is in, you create a presence, and if it's a good one, it's going to formulate into different ideas to play out physically that a person in a different space, especially a negative one, even if both grandmothers is cooking and the spirit that's in the negative space as a grandma is cooking, she may be too distracted to come up with other things like extra seasonings or not enough seasonings or extra things or extra amount of seconds. It could have been seasoned or smothered or soaked or steamed with the top on top of the frying pan or pot, that ultimately come out to a better product. You know what I'm saying? And this is just an example of how things play out within an anatomy, how you may already be there when it comes to being aware spiritually. So keep that in mind too. Let me restart this. That's just too blurry. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be that blurry. I don't know if it's like trying to disconnect or something like that, but it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? But wait till we get 12 minutes in. But like I said, though, you know what I'm saying? It's just getting your mind constructed and get you to understand when you are spiritually in your first body, your mind, and then duplicate into your second body. So for the most part, your body mimic the mind and your mind mimic the spirit. And your spirit is no thing, so you're always supposed to be striving for being one of a kind, due to the fact of your spirit is always needing to be fulfilled. So the things that you are experiencing is things that you interchange, formate, and create new versions, aka minds and bodies. So the more that you are able to put yourself into a position and allow these things to expand and not do organ implosion, this puts you into a scenario where you're able to understand how each instant happens and how you even came here and what you're dealing with once you are already born with an atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind too. And a lot of times you could be affected by certain spirits that's trying to be born, right? So in a lot of instances, right, the idea that they emanate may have a certain connection to the ideas that you emanate, and that allow y'all to have a certain connection, but also influence. And when you get added an idea that can help you with your idea that you already got, and let's say you want to rob a bank or something like that, then for the most part, this is how you could quote unquote say you're getting attacked by a spirit, but it's also not that. You're opening yourself up to have agreeable terms and conditions with a spirit that has similar ideas that may not even be played out and polarizing as bank, but what as bank robbing. But whatever motivate you to bank rob before it becomes bank robbery, you could have came up with many things, or let's rob a store or whatever. But the energy you in to motivate you to do that is the shared energy. And therefore, that's what that spirit bringing from their previous lifetime as an ability to create a new mind and body. And then that's what you currently got as an anchor system for them to come filter through and have a parent. If you're fucking enough, or create a situation that you have created, that's your child, whether you want to rob a bank or whatever the case may be, this is your child, and that spirit will be in it and be able to, go through anybody you influence through that same mental template to be able to be born through another individual that may be fucking a little bit more than you if you ain't fucking enough. But this is how we come here. And due to the fact of us not being in the right spiritual space, we're not developing the right thoughts and feelings that we should be more predicated on. Because we be distracted with other synthetic thoughts and feelings. If we in the right spiritual space, we developing healthier thoughts and feelings. And then those thoughts and feelings become the reminiscences in that space for other spirits that's in that space with similar emanations, if they're not born yet, to be able to connect with that. And then therefore, you bring them type of children down here. You be in a certain other spiritual space. That's why I tell y'all, even before having kids and things of that nature, I've been teaching this for years. You need to have a spiritual connection with an individual, because for the most part, you could be bringing something down that's just as much as a physical representation of your prosperity that you in search for that you may not currently have. So it ain't about praying, right? But it's about putting yourself into a situation where you feel like you already have it, or you think you already have it. So spiritually, you already made the substance. And then it's up to you to harness that substance, the thought and feeling, so it can do enough fusion, friction, and pressure and condense and become your actual reality. So it's kind of like boosting yourself up with, courage, building yourself up with strength, building yourself up with faith in the right mechanism of it, where you know that it's going to be, and even if it ain't going to be, at least you're in that presence if it was to be already, even to your last second, your last breath, and therefore you're harnessing good abilities. So when you create another mind and body, your spirit always has the ability to create those memories, those abilities, those circumstances where you're going to be more clairvoyant and more light in your transitionings, even when you're currently living and your circumstances that you're dealing with. So then what you do is how you deal with it. All right, we're 12 minutes in too. So let's about to go to the matrix. So, Dub said, how you're doing today, Neo? How you doing today, Trinity? Sad. Papa Mint Flight. Sad. Morpheus, not this one, not this time. Morpheus was cosplaying a Native American. Thank you so much for the cash app, VI Izzo. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Shout out to Soul Group. Now, look. Check this out. Now, there's going to be a lot of things that you develop on your mind that you may think you're the only one developing. Now, remember this. It's always teamwork makes the dream work. Remember this. A team or participants may not always be the form you always may be lost in ways that you may not know is still dealing with expectation and desires, not just a will and your volition for something to be working through you. So a lot of times, here's the thing. You may just think something's on your mind. And then when you start to have it as teamwork makes the dream work, you can have added on things that may not necessarily purely come from your mind, yet you open the opportunity for it to be, and then you automatically don't have the science to know that parts of this percentage scale is not on your mind. It's just being added as an influence. Now, here's the thing. Teamwork makes the dream work. So by you not being aware of that, this is why I always say ancestor, that's one term that they get you lost in. Spiritual predecessor is the actual equilibrium you're supposed to utilize, because spiritual just means a spirit, a space, and predecessor just means what comes before you. This separate the train of thought and line of reasoning that any spirit that took a form had to take an actual human body. You know what I'm saying? So this lets you understand, even if you want to use the term ancestor, doesn't necessarily mean your ancestor always took the form of a human. You know what I'm saying? And there's many different spirits, predecessors. So spirits took many different forms, such as you did. You weren't always a human, even when you was condensing and becoming one. You was in your first body, a thought. So for the most part, when we start to think about your ancestor, you have a lot of ancestors in that form of body, of thought. And depending on that thought, when you connect and jump in that space where that ancestor was at, or that spiritual predecessor, even if you're unaware of it, when you jump in that esoteric spiritual space, you develop your own subjective thoughts and feelings. Now, teamwork makes the dream work. When you emanate a space from nothing in a location where a bunch of other spirits, spaces, nothing is at, souls, individual souls, and then y'all all emanating things to fulfill y'all nothing space with something, mental forms, there becomes a connection in that realm. Y'all create a realm, an atmosphere and an environment before it condense and become actual air in this environment. Now, here's the thing. Once you create that connection, now y'all are all able to be aware of each other on each ladder scale. Whether it's a spirit that's there that's alive like you, or spirits that's trying to be born there, and things of that nature. And based upon the thoughts and the feelings you have, it's going to be similar, as teamwork makes the dream work, to the other group of spirits, thoughts, and feelings. And then that form of connection play out as fusion, friction, and pressure that can make fleshly fluids. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Bravo. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Now these things can make fleshly fluids. So, depending on what spiritual space you in, and let's say that you're remembering that fleshly fluid, that's a mental one at this point, an ancestor or someone that came before you. If you have a thought and feeling, and it was negative, and then it started to get added on imaginations to it, here come another negative thought, here come another negative feeling. You already did your work as you being in a spirit being in that space, and emanated your thought and feeling there. The moment you start to get other ones, you're getting help now. That's not truly all you. You're getting help now. And then you're getting another spirit that's in a mental body there with a different side of seeing that you get connected to, and now you can see it that way. Another thought and feeling, a spirit that's in a body, a thought and feeling mind, that you start to see it. Then you start to add all these to yours. And let's say there's spirits there that's not in no body like you yet, and they're just in those forms, like how you once was. Then if you're fucking enough, that become the fleshly fluid that spirit can work with. And then once you can, whether you got the egg cell or the sperm cell, and it come together, whatever partner that you fucking, that can start developing organs that spirit can, that's attached to still in the mind. And their mind on a percentage scale is condensing with that fleshly fluid. And then once it's fully formulated, the spirit could jump in that body and actually take the form. So that's actually false to even say the baby in the womb of a woman is actually alive, just because certain parts of the organs is being produced and is reacting and responding like what y'all considering alive. But in all actuality, a person could be brain dead in a goddamn coma for almost reaching a year, and eventually the doctor gonna call you and say, we're not gonna be able to wake this person back up, or whatever the case may be. So were they actually alive just because we're considering the heart beating alive? Were they actually alive just because we considering, you get what I'm saying? So when it get to a fetus, that's not alive at all. You know what I'm saying? Don't even get that fucked up. That's faulty reasoning and science. You could chop a wet water worm outside when it's raining in half, and one half start walking away and the other half start walking away. But is it alive? You know what I'm saying? No. Eventually it's gonna slow down. It's just in the middle of the organisms working. The spirit can't take it and be like, because if that's the case, the spirit can only work on it in the mental lighter form of the flesh. If that's the case, it'll be science that a fetus did a backflip in a cartwheel on its own volition inside of somebody's mother. No, we don't get that. We just get some natural thing happening right? And then once it's actually developed and come out, that's when it can take its first breath. Now, I can't get too big. Now, once we talk about it's already formulated, all the organs is formulated, then it's alive. But no one does even abortion that late. 8-9 months. Who that's not, you can't even do that late. The organs is finalized. The spirit in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But if all organs ain't finalized, it's not alive. That don't even make sense. The organs ain't even made yet. You could be a person that you alive and all your organs is made and be in damn near a coma or some shit like that and brain dead and can't wake your ass up. You ain't alive just because other things is working that we're considering what's alive. You see what I'm saying? Or you just gonna be that family member in that state for years and years, and your family gonna be like, we going broke. We gonna have to go ahead and let them pull the plug. Y'all saying real shit. Keeping it 100. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at life is a mechanism transition and shit like that. That's like a bike, and if it need training wheels and things of that nature, but it ain't got no training wheels yet. It ain't alive. Kid can't ride it yet. Until it develop training wheels, you can put the little kid on it to make it ride, to try to make the kid ride the bike. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying this because I know the one who wills the word makes something more than what it is. I'm not trying to create no law or put nothing in the world, make y'all do this, that, and I'm just talking about things. Y'all take what you want out of it. All right, now look. Now, when it comes to many of y'all, now this is the area you're supposed to get sufficient with. Developing your mental structures on your own, because that's your first body. So that's the first thing you're supposed to keep clean. And when I say clean, this don't have anything to do with what y'all consider to be negative or positive. Clean means the ability to know that you're getting dirty, but to never be of the dirt. So dirt in this aspect is just when one piece of something clogs up another piece of something. So that means you got something from somewhere else and mixed it with something else from somewhere else. And if you're wearing the something from somewhere else and then you're mixing it with something from something else from another area, this what makes things dirty. Now we call this cloudy of judgment. We call that cloudy judgment. Too many pieces of the cloud that's not yours being a participant, or you making too many clouds that's not from your position and probably not even your outcome, but you suggesting it to be, and you could possibly make it your outcome. You see what I'm saying? So when you first emanate an imagination, an experience, a portal, a thought, emanating it, an emotion, reacting to it, so that's when you know you're inside of it from a simultaneous level, right? That's yours. Now, when you become unclear, that's because you unsure of your mental power, your mental ability, your first body. So when you emanate your first body, it's clean. It's dirty because it's a body itself, but it's clean because it's clear. When you start to add too many suggestions, it becomes unclear, dirty, where you take your body, spaceship, and go into an area where other spaceships or forms that other spaceships may have left there, and getting confused on what's yours and what's there already, or what's someone else's, or what you're getting influenced by. See what I'm saying? And when you lose track, you end up thinking what's yours and what you're getting affected by is all yours. Then when you start to reach thoughts and feelings your spirit is experiencing and develop the thought and feeling of uncomfortability, you don't know how you got it. And this is what I'm describing. You're picking up other spirits, thoughts and feelings, influences, and attaching it to yours because you was in a similar space. So you couldn't tell the difference between yours and it because of the similarity and the same path. So a lot of times you could be on the wrong path, get help to be on the wrong path, and think it's the right path because what you just got help with is so similar to what you're emanating to go on that path, and get easily blinded down to an experience that you didn't like as a spirit that separates you from that whole spaceship you created. Mentality and actions that it condensed to become to be led you into a situation you don't want to experience anymore. See what I'm saying? So this is like a way to understand what you're doing before I get into the many stories, even that Native Americans like we have and stuff like that, that a lot of other people, especially like Washi Hu, may have thought this was a belief or some spooky shit. And a lot of times it's just based off when you're going out and doing things and bringing things back to the tribes and stuff like that, it's like you develop things that you was thinking about when you was doing these things. So during this period of time, like wintertime and things of that nature, when the sun coming into this period and it gets more cold, especially on the Great Lakes area and even the Great Plains area, right? And then and everything in between, northwest and southeast. This would be a time where if it ain't no TV or nothing, and the sky is our TV, our mind, right? That's the time we story tell. And a lot of things that was on our mind first, right? Anatomy, body, holy, then holy, astrology, right? The meaning, mother nature, then astronomy, times of the year before it becomes winter, right? And then what motivate us to go out and get something in the land is our first thought. But before we get too dirty, there's a lot of things that give us ideas to switch routes or to find new stuff, right? So these would be other images that we know how to counterpartmentalize. So it may be a spirit animal or a spirit plant, or AKA we're in the space of a being just in another form, and that form have it condensed to be the form I am, yet it's still in existence. See what I'm saying? So let's say we going out and we're going to hunt. So buffalo's on our mind. Now, since buffalo's on our mind, that's our thought. Now we know, because we're native, we know that we're not getting lost into other thoughts, because the main goal is the buffalo, and if you get too distracted, you ain't gonna be able to bring none home to the tribe. So for the most part, now the ideas you get comes like for a reason. These thoughts you're getting, and you even developing new ideas on how to get the buffalo and stuff, everything is a reason. And if every form has a spirit, mentalities are forms. So it must be a spirit in it, a space in it, or it wouldn't have an emanation, and it'd just be some dead weight that you don't care about, or something that's already dust that you can utilize, but it won't have no reason to it to add on to what you were already motivated to do. You see what I'm saying? So there may be, so throughout this, it may be a lot of things going on in your mind that still you're connected with the atmosphere that had you do something that when we tell the story, it ain't an over exaggeration, but you might be like, yeah, I seen something in this type of way, and you're comparing it and contrasting to the things in nature, and it's always going to be a self-reflective type of energy where we always self-reflect. But if you're doing it for God, the way you're self-reflected is the natural anthropomorphizing way. Whatever you can't explain that you were seeing, you're going to relate it to things that you was seeing. You know what I'm saying? So if we out looking for the buffalo, it might be a buffalo spirit that led us into a better way to attack the buffalo. So there may be a whole story that come with it about what we might hypothetically make up of how buffalo was here in the first place. Here's the thing. Washi Who may look at that and be like, they're believing in animals again, or they're doing this, that, and the third, and they making it seem like the animal said, you can kill me. No, that's just a story how we tell it. But after the story, we give the lesson. This is the lesson of it. There's a nature the buffalo had that you can play out to protect you from you getting caught, and then when it's time for you to let your guards down to settle with it, then there's another nature to it. We're breaking down the essence of buffalo itself, the essence of it. So the collection of spiritual root race in that essence has a certain character, father, mother, astrology, how it come in and become all of their womb as a spiritual root race, and then an enemy for them to even be in the land in the first place. That takes it another layer on how to hunt and things of that nature, or how to understand things and play these roles for yourself. So you will start to see you're being taught by something that don't have the same organ as you or form as you, yet that's a real thing. So this is how we start to get into motherland, this mama, the words you in and stuff on the holy level. But this is like the early stages of it. But at the same time, you're basically seeing the layers of reality in this attribute. Because if something haven't condensed to be physical yet, you're not going to be able to explain it physically. Yet that reason was there, and the outcome is all the goddamn confirmation. You know what I'm saying? You could have sat and we was doing anything, and you came up with a better way of how to dribble the ball. But without going through that dialogue, that train of thought, that line of reasoning on why that was to be. You won't be seeing the other layers of reality you're dealing with, where there's other spirits in the other forms interacting that you're participating with also to create the whole event in the first place and the how it's planned out and stuff like that. And when you're on the right side of the universe, you on the better quality of being able to develop attraction. And when you're on the wrong side of the universe, you're more fighting or resisting or lacking the ability of being able to create something attractive. So that becomes the fusion, friction, and pressure, and the organ structure you end up creating also. But at the same time, this puts you into a situation of understanding when you're out in the world. Anytime you have your thought, the thing that motivated you to go out and do it, you're spiritually in the space of all the other spirits with those similar thoughts. Before you look at it within the layer of the environment, you're getting into the other layer now, the holy layer now, where you don't necessarily, you may not be in the same location spiritually, but you're in the same location physically, but you're in the same location spiritually. So what do I mean by that? It takes time for those mental structures you're connecting with people spiritually in your first body to bend in into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. That's why I always make this example. You could wake up in the spiritual space of being hungry, but your original idea going about it ain't like someone else's. Yours want to go to McDonald's. Someone else is in the spiritual space, equilibrium-wise, also is being hungry. Now, let's say they're in the same geographical location as you, also on the same street as you. So both of y'all hungry in the same world, spiritually, but then they on the same street as you also, deciding to go to McDonald's. Then based upon y'all spiritual frequency vibration percentage levels, that's how much thought and feeling y'all putting in it. To compare and contrast if you're going to show up there the same time as this person other than someone else. So this when you adding thoughts and feelings to motivate as fusion, friction, and pressure to be like how much you want to go there. And then any other spirit on that street in that same percentage level, 9 times out of 10, that fusion, friction, and pressure are going to condense, and both of y'all are going to end up in the physical event at the same time, other than someone else who wasn't as motivated, but still was in that same world, and they probably end up going to McDonald's 20 minutes after y'all. But when you in that same space, y'all connect there first, so y'all had the similar mentality, did it bend in into the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, and y'all physically be at that same structure that a collection of spirits had to be together to even make that in reality in the first place. You know what I'm saying? If me and you was to create a baby, that's me and you building a business or something like that. Before we talk about it physically in the holy, we're talking about the holy and the holy first. So whatever we construct, it bend down from the inside out, and then we find things in nature to build that up. So we took from our atmosphere and started to build that structure in the environment. But before you start to think, the environment is already here for us to do that. That washing machine cycle is for that to even be a possibility in the first place. The atmospheres was actually condensing and becoming the sun, moon, clouds, air, wind, earth, and material. So this is how we know how we're even bringing things in the world and how we come here when you're thinking about it from that type of instant. And that's the only instant you should be thinking about it about. And it's actually how you take your power back too, because you're actually knowing that you are connected to this World Wide Web. Even though that's native hobbyism, computer web and stuff like that. They actually took that from Native Americans also. We actually said World Wide Web, but we were just thinking about America and things of that nature. See what I'm saying? But here's the thing. So when we started talking about seeing, you're jumping into the essence of how you developed your senses, your sees, your flows, your conscious flows. And then you're seeing it from the lens of the mechanism beyond the concept when you just be seeing it after it's already condensed and playing out through the organs. So you have to see or hear something for you to understand, instead of you seeing the essence of it trickle down and know that you're getting ready to experience you having to see or hear something. So I'm saying now it's double layers. So you have to put yourself in that attribute. So when you're out in the world, here's a kicker. Now, when you have a motivation that's yours and you go out, say you start to formulate a thought and imagination that goes beyond the original thought that motivated you to be in that spiritual space in the first place to see things that way, right? you're getting help to structure a realm. This is what we always do. And depending on what kind of realm that is, a lot of y'all make nightmares and stuff like that, but depending on what kind of realm that is, you're seeing formations of other spirits creating their mind body and the things that they're choosing to emanate. Now, if you don't always like what you're experiencing and thinking and feeling, that lets you know you're in a negative spiritual space, and a lot of other spirits that's there or got put there or they're on their own volition, you're getting help to experience what they're experiencing, and they're experiencing what you experiencing, and all y'all is given some nature that y'all in that you had to like to be in, even if it's being expressed in ways that you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? You got to just because you getting abused in a relationship, if you ain't leaving a relationship, you must like getting abused. You see what I'm saying? It's that type of way. You might down yourself all the time and wait for someone else to boost you up, but in all actuality, you just like being down and waiting for someone else to boost you up, regardless of how you lie to yourself and just be like, oh, I'm like this. You get what I'm saying? It's a deep game. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Nigel. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Spirituality is a deep game. And you can get so lost in the duplications, you could be controlled. And here's the thing. You could be so controlled by other spirits that's just trying to come here and things of that nature, that the stimuli that they're developing inside of a mind and what you're doing, where you at as a spirit and creating inside of your mind, they may give you solutions if you're already in a negative world to start to get bad habits. Then you start doing things that you have to come to conclusions and be like, oh, I didn't mean that, I didn't apologize, or whatever the case may be. I wasn't myself. And a lot of times you wasn't. Even when you get horny. You see what I'm saying? So you have to peep game. And then for the most part, this is how a lot of y'all even get into those situations where you think your children is a mistake or whatever. That's why I always take y'all into the situation of understanding. If you're going to have a partner too, y'all need to have those type of ceremonies, those prayer ceremonies, P-R-E-Y, where both spirits is in a space where you're separating from all the spaces that distract y'all, because you know both of y'all as spirits is flying, and if you're in a location of distractions and other stuff that's built on the horniness, that's also the type of children you get ready to bring, because you're in the space of those spirits that's emanating those similar thoughts. And a lot of these spirits may have been here longer than you, based on this washing machine cycle. So just because you jump in this time and you develop the body, and they may have died, so you're just in this cycle that they get ready to jump back in, so you're in a physical age older to be their parent, doesn't mean that this spirit may not be more intelligent than you with their own abilities once they get born through you and then become what you are 20 times worse, that you just probably kept inside of you and never acted on, but this person actually acted on being a serial killer. This person acted on being a Hitler. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times y'all got to be careful of that too. Just being in some type of deep thought and thinking that just because you ain't express it, your spirit is in that space dealing with those other spirits, helping you out, stay in that space, giving you other thoughts to make you think, I like going to that space. Even when you in the third dimension, playing it out in reverse, it's things you think you don't like. Oh, I'm depressed right now. Oh, I need mental pills and stuff like that. No, you just like being in a situation that someone else can tell you you need mental pills. It'd be that simple. This thought forms like this get people out of autism, ADHD, all kinds, because you always separating yourself from what you in. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got a problem, you know how to solve it better. And do that inside body travel through each chakra that condense to become each organ and start to give a lot of thoughts and feelings there, so that could condense and become more blood flow in that area, so whatever organ or body can start functioning like a well-oiled machine again and stuff like that. And a lot of times that's how you play it out, astronomy and astrology. And then in anatomy, a lot of times it'll push you towards being focused on something or being interested in something you wasn't previously interested in, based upon the distractions of layers you was in. And physically, you may not even know those mental layers of distractions is the real world also, which leads you into a physical distraction. And it leads you into better things to eat if you do it the right way. Like first you'll do the astronomy father version. Certain times, like you ain't always happy, you ain't always down, you ain't always sick, you ain't always pure. You know what I'm saying? Or fatigued. So boom, those times. Then astrology, the meaning. Can you resonate with the essence of where that feeling or reactions is coming from? And then that takes you spiritually into that actual area. Then you start to manipulate how the blood is running there, because it ain't blood, it ain't running the natural way for you to be aware of it in the first place, and you need to work on your machine. You know what I'm saying? So your spirit always going to make you pay attention. Your machine always going to let you know that it needs to be paid attention to. You know what I'm saying? That's where fatigue and stuff come from. You know what I'm saying? Let you know when you need to rest. Let you know when you need to start working harder. Let you know when you need to start thinking about this, not that. You see what I'm saying? This is all your machinery, right? Then when you go in and things of that nature, you go into the actual organ that was made from the dream, of that if the dream is starting to become a nightmare, then it produced to that area and start to become fatigue. Okay, that's the intertwine, the atmosphere and the environment intertwine, that you're supposed to be your spiritual god and goddess to jump in and know how to handle your machine. You know what I'm saying? Your bodies, your mind, and your physical, which they're one and the same. This atmosphere, environment, cloud, rain. You know what I'm saying? Sun, cloud, wind, earth. But it's just that cycle. And then when you do that, that's the astrology version. And then you work it out with the anatomy. You start to meditate on that and ponder on that, and then actually have you practice what you preach or what's on your mind. These are all mind stimuli, witchcraft, and then ritual, whatever you do with the body. As soon as you start to do, externalize what's motivating you inside of you. And then if that was the motivation, that the path that I was just teaching you, externally, you're going to be motivated to do things that you get attracted to or interested in, that actually speed up the process and be the necessary fulfillments. So it may lead you to certain nutrients, change your diet, different type of exercises, whatever the case may be. And then boom, y'all working together as a team, your spirit and your machine. You know what I'm saying? You and your spirit and your machine, your soul, your machine, and mind and body. Y'all working together as a team. And then for the most part, that's how you end up even finding things that another person probably would have never thought of in a backyard, that you just put together and things of that nature, and boom, you the medicine man. You know what I'm saying? Now you the medicine woman and some goddamn shit. And a lot of times, before it even leads to physically, you get so well sufficient, you're able to help a person mentally, so it don't even lead down to them needing you physically and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So there's a medicine spirit. You know what I'm saying? There's a prosperity spirit. If it's a mental form, it's a spirit in it. When you create a thought, ain't you a spirit? Then what's in that thought then? And what's going to make that thought go the distance? You, the spirit in it. You see what I'm saying? So always understand how life is, what it's doing in this motherfucker shit. You're a being in the atmosphere, and you got many forms within it. Know how to use them. And when you don't use it, you lose it. I mean, y'all got so many sides to y'all. Y'all be putting in the back seats and stuff, man. All y'all could be shining like rainbow indigo children and shit like that. This side of yourself you never knew. You know what I'm saying? It's another side of you that you never knew you had that gift or talent. And there's another side of you that you never knew it could be exposed and you could be embarrassed. If you understand all these sides of you and things of that nature, you'll be well-rounded as a spiritual being. You know what I'm saying? Not be running around foolish and careless and shit. And you got spirits that help you. You'll know what space you in. You ever woke up and then you was in a certain space, and then you woke up another day, you was in another space, and then this play out throughout the day. Okay, what's fulfilling a space? Forms, atmospheres. Forms in many different shapes and forms. Can't just tap one shape. Everything is no one, two of the same atmosphere, cycle, circle. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. Then, it don't even matter if you even in the same environment. You still get them same atmospherical phases or different atmospherical phases and things of that nature. So, that's letting you know that you're connected with something for you to even be here, which is the platform itself, the Great Spirit, the All. So that's the holy, holy, holy. If you got a spirit, I got a spirit, I got a spirit, then for the most part, there's a holy, holy, holy version of that. There's a holy, holy version of everything of that nature, right? So when you think about on an attribute of all of us being one angle or a one area of that whole all being nothing, and when something get made, you know, the whole area objective didn't get made, it's getting pieces in it, within it, space within space is getting made, and that's what's creating subjectivity. And then once each piece become aware, that's each space, spirit becoming aware, creating a mind, and then that's connecting. And then that's the esoteric holy atmosphere, the holy, holy, holy atmosphere. So that becomes the image of God, the all of us together, every piece of speck of a mental construct before it condenses to become physically. That's every spirit becoming aware. And when we become aware, that's the substance. We create a mind around our space that separate your space from other people's space. And the only way we can know how each other move is how our space, how our minds is moving, us being inside of it, being a space, a soul, an individual spirit, individual space. So when we create an awareness, that's our first body, our mind, the substance. But that's also what's connecting for us to share space, but to be aware that we're sharing space. So now you got subjectivity creating an object or an objective. So now we all have an objective. Is we feeding God? And that's what so this becomes the holy fruit, the holy character, all of our expressions together. That become the holy atmosphere, the holy, holy, holies. Nothing beyond that. Nothing bigger than a team. We're all brothers and sisters in this area, along with all species, not just y'all flaunt that ass humans. Y'all don't even include atmospheres. Bitch, I'm an atmosphere. You get an atmosphere knowledge. You can only get what a bear like to do from a bear. You can only get what a thief like to do from a thief. You can only get what an atmosphere, aka angel, like to do from an atmosphere, aka angel, motherfucker. Smoke signals for the world. All right, but look, now check this out, right? We all go up in smoke. They're different forms. Now, when there's fusion, friction, and pressure, once we do that and we keep doing it inside of it, we're creating a cycle system. So the cycle system that we're not out of, but the more something becomes dense, it becomes the atmosphere, the environment, the mind, the organ. So when we're producing the image, the projection of God, we're also condensing and become the organ. So we're living through God to create a time that God could live through us. So angels do that on small magnitudes. Atmospheres do that to humans. Humans do that to animals. Animals do that to parasites. Parasites do that to, and that's how we all implode ourselves also, to raise each other up. So this is how you get evolution. You get creation, mutation, evolution. We're raising each other up also. You see what I'm saying? So it play out in reverse. Physically, it may look like we downsizing. Spiritually, we expanding. If we do that right, sometimes we invert our way of doing things, go the opposite direction, and then it become organ explosion, organ implosion. Us thinking that we expanding physically and smalling up our spirit and importance spiritually. So then we got to come back in lesser forms that we have full control over in order to catch back up. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you get in latent races or tainted races. And when I say racist, I'm not trying to say racism and color and stuff like that. It's just, there's an existence of retarded people in this world. And they was born the same way someone else was born. That no matter if we even make an example of, you know what I'm saying? Well, this person had a deficiency. This person's parent had this, that, and the third. Okay, what made that condition? That come from a reason. And I don't want to say, because people have these people in their family and stuff. So I'm not saying that as a, you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that as that. I'm just saying, like, everything is for a reason. Or everybody will be healthy. And I'm not blaming it on the spirit either. I'm just saying this is life. You know what I'm saying? It's just life. I can't give it a bad or a good annotation to it, based upon what I'm talking about right now in the frame of thought. It's just life, and the only thing I can make an example out of. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, let's not take it that far. Let's ease it up a little bit. Let's put a cherry on top with some whipped cream, right? Everybody have opportunity, right? But think about your living conditions. That might lack the percentage scale of access you have to the opportunity. So then you see how people in the world who get to complain where they're from places like me, oh, damn, we from the hood, we don't got access to this. And then other people who got access to things that may not be privy to a lot of interactions that a person have to even think about to even get motivated to go about something. And then they can flip around and call somebody lazy about something. But they may have got the luxury to be in a position where they don't even have to think about certain things that another person was thinking about for them to even be perceived that way. So you see what I'm saying? It can play out that way too. So just let you know, don't get lost and stuff like that. But at the same time, when you start to talk about how we're connected, now as a spirit, we create the form that we can experience each other, and that creates the realms of realities. So each spiritual root race going to be able to have that on a broader scale, where this group of spiritual root race may have this level of abilities, so their levels of minds is going to condense to become this level of organs and differ than all the spirits that was in this space for us to even have what's a bee and a butterfly. See what I'm saying? What's a bear and a lion? You know what I'm saying? What's a human and an atmosphere? See what I'm saying? But we're all doing the essence of what an atmosphere and an environment is, but we all doing it in relative in our spiritual root races ways. Mind, bodies. So the alchemy mathematical procedure is going to be slightly different, aka the way minds think and condensed and became the structure of the organs to practice what you preach, to do the witchcraft with the mind alchemy, and the ritual and spell, the procedure that you do with the body. So this lets us know how we tap into that area of studying too, different species, but taking it back to a spiritual nature and things of that nature, right? Now, this is the type of shit I would like to talk about around some Jews, you know what I'm saying, some Masons or something like that, like shit like this, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when you start to look at that area and shit, now you're starting to see its actual qualities that we can compare and contrast negative and positive to be able to be like, spiritually, this is the space we in, to bring that as an atmosphere to that to even condense to become an environment. And do we want this to be an organ for God and things of that nature, right? All possibility, because we're in a cycle. So you could look at it like a concept, like you could go to heaven, but we make it and that presence be here, and we could become that kind of form. So I'm saying, as a teamwork makes the dream work. So on a micro scale, how angels do it is, once something as a collection is made and ready to be an environment or organ and things of that nature, then it's time to make another atmosphere and environment, aka another mental form that can become an organ. See what I'm saying? So then it becomes, if all the angels made the first body, the minds, and then every spirit that came after that did the same thing, but since it's teamwork makes the dream work, that fusion, friction, and pressure made it more of a condensed reality, then truly the first world, the mind, created a layer to it, the physical world, that spirits that came to help build that one only can perceive things, but they got two perceptions, the physical and that, right? So you got both of those type of organ circumstances. So here's the thing. Now, once it's like because we're making a being. Now that the whole being itself, once that become a condensing thing, the angel, through the beings that came after, and it was a condensed form, that's the angel living through them. Because the angels be in all of y'all minds, first bodies, that condensing, once y'all added to that, and made the physical world, which is another layer of it, that you could use that world for this world, and it becomes that type of body, right? Where you could get influenced with all these ideas to make your life better. So you go get taught astrology by an angel. You could get taught all these, how to melt a metal. You get taught all this, you get taught some shit. And you probably ain't really know how to do it anyway, but you start your learning once you go through those same paths, that spirits that went on that path, even in lighter forms before you, that you may be having more condensed and confused and polarized and biased ways of going about it, yet is there for you to do. Once that become outdated, now the angel get born through y'all, and now y'all have to live through the angel, God children, the Holy One, right? AKA to show y'all what y'all doing anyway, but y'all doing it wrong on how the angel got stuck in the first place to live through y'all. Now, once they get born through, and now y'all live through the angel equalizes everything y'all was doing and create another imagination, atmosphere, to let y'all know it's time for us to create another mental thing that's getting ready to condense to become another organ, so we can finish this big golem we making, God. And we can't keep getting stuck in one organ. We just made this organ. It's outdated now. And if this die without no other organ, God die. God stay retarded. God never opened its eyes, and then we get to get outside of God's mind and start making the world around it. AKA every piece of the atmosphere, a spirit take it. Everything in it, everything has a spirit. See what I'm saying? So we'll start to build the reality outside of God. Now, God was living through us, that idea we're making, and now we can live through God, aka the imagination God wake up and start having is just filtering through all of our forms, all of our bodies, mental bodies, us condensing and becoming an environment and things of that nature. Then when this thing, aka this root race, start their island from plants, come out the water plants and become the bugs, and then the sea creature, and then the animals, and then the humans, and then what that is, it's the world, a greater world. You see what I'm saying? As a whole, same cycle. That's why I explained it that way, but it's just different. It ain't what we do, it's how we do it. So just look at it like this. You glad you ain't no monkey, right? You glad you ain't no lion, but you could look at a lion that is here, and you could be a human right now and be like, damn, I'm glad I'm a human. And I'm glad I'm not that you could point to. And then a lion is in the same situation. Damn, I'm glad I'm not that caterpillar and stuff. You see what I'm saying? So you have to look at it. It's like that. That's how we create worlds and find new worlds. That's how you find a new world. But it has to condense to become physical, or the concept of heaven itself and stuff like that would be debunked. Because you're just going in your mind in non-existence that has all the representations of existence, but didn't represent participating with building God, so you don't become God's children in existence to actually experience God. But that's the only way we can experience God. You see what I'm saying? So each geographical location is each different organ. Each phenotype out these geographical location is each blood cell in that organ. And we would have sped up the process of all of us having beings in the sky and stuff like that. But it would have been a reality and stuff. But at the same time, this is what we're seeing, period. When you're just interacting with life and you're developing thoughts, and then you have your own thought, and a lot of times you could be assisted, but you think that these are your thoughts, but you're being carried with other spirits that have been there and done that and trying to come back and do it again, such as you, for you to have that thought and you to be alive, because this is how you got here. Pardon me. Never separate this from you. Anything you experience outside of yourself is the same way you got here. You know what I'm saying? So when you say, oh, I'm getting attacked by spirits or something like that, okay, you attack somebody as a spirit and now you got born. You know what I'm saying? Or how did you get here then? You see what I'm saying? You got to understand that. So the whole process of us sharing or being in similar spiritual spaces, then our first forms of mental web connection is mental forms. When you in a similar space, you're going to develop similar thoughts and feelings and vortexes, and then the spirit that's on the cycle that may have got pushed out and then you born, that could be your child, but you did the same thing, right? Everybody has a chance to be born and die. So then when you die, and then someone else in your family or some other cycle system, because you could have a lot of mental connection with a friend, and so let's say you was to die, or your friend was to die, there's a possibility that that spirit leave their family and be more connected with that person and their family. So in the washing machine cycle, they come back as they best friend nephew that they sister just had or brother just had, or they end up becoming their best friend new cousin born in the world or some shit like that, after probably like a year or two, maybe, or even a few months after whoever died, but they got connected more with someone outside of the family that they share blood-wise. Because the spirit is different than what you just be around other spirits and have a similar experiences and bend in, and whoever you had the most experiences with, those are the people you're going to share the most fusion, friction, and pressures with, aka blood flow, and even probably physical traits and certain ways of going about things. But spiritually, you still do it your own way. That's how you get family physically. But from the spiritual world, it's just you separating from your spiritual tribe, and you caught a desire. So you was in a spiritual space with other spirits that left tribes, because we all go out and experience, with other tribes that had that desire, and the ones you had the most experiences with become shared blood, shared traits. Ones you had next on the percentage scale of experiences with may become the people like neighbors, environment. Next after it may become people that's strangers, but they're in the environment, so you're aware of them. Probably just not enough to say hi every day and stuff like that. So like store clerks and stuff. Then extend after that, certain similar traits and stuff. And then once it goes beyond that layer, then you find your spiritual soul tribe of everybody else who did the same thing you did. Leave their spiritual soul tribe because they got lost into a desire. Came down here, then figured out, oh, it's boring. Just like how you about to realize how you got lost in the Lucifer seed. Only one mind that condensed as this body, and you'll want this to go. So you don't stay in the mental angelic world like it with birth, life, death is just emanating a dream, experiencing it, and get rid of it and create another one. But at the same time, like it's nothing. But boom, when you get down here, boom, you get tired, start to realize things not agreeing with you, boom. Especially if we got online, no matter one of these times, you start to realize people you closest to not liking stuff faster than a stranger that's into the same thing you into, and then slowly but shortly you're out of all those layers and you're getting back to finding your spiritual tribe. Everybody who did the same thing you did, so y'all all in different families, different geographical locations and shit, but all got the same interest that's motivating y'all to come together in some way. You know what I'm saying? That's, tell me another reason why these things happen. See what I'm saying? Ain't no scientific method unless you're gonna talk about spiritific methods. Now, spiritific methods, we get into this all night. You know what I'm saying? And you won't be able to debunk it. The only way you'll be able to debunk it is why you can't tell me the microscope you can use. Why you don't tell me the telescope you can use. Where's the white man's scientific method behind it that I could go click on a NASA channel to use? Well, bitch, before you even have the idea to be in the space to develop to even want to watch NASA, this is what I'm talking about. That you gonna prove me right. That you're gonna be in a certain space, and then I'm gonna start breaking you down like you just in a feisty wanting to fight space without understanding what's actually going on. And then all I'm doing is going to break down that you in the space to develop a thought that want to go against my thought, and then that thought motivates you to practice what you preach, turning on NASA to figure out a way to debunk me. And then you ain't gonna know if you arguing for or against something, and then you just proved me right. For you to even have that idea, you was in the realm that I'm talking about to develop it, and then you could bring it down here. Why you don't want to take that and create a McDonald's that could be all around the world? You know what I'm saying? See, that's all I be talking about. That's all I be talking about. Y'all go to these places in the spirit world and bring some bullshit down here. Bring some straight bullshit down here. That's all I be talking about. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't got to jump in no spaceship and go to space. We just went there. Do you understand me? We just went there. You know what I'm saying? So, for the most part, when you're thinking about seeing things within the atmosphere, you're going to see a lot of things that you emanate a motivation, boom, you added something to the atmosphere before it even was in an environment. Even if you went out in the environment and start to go out and about and do it, even if you're walking in the woods. Then you start getting help with your image to structure other images, and then you might start seeing monsters and all kind of shit. But don't look at it like that. These are spirits in their first body, and this is how they see themselves. You might see yourself as a giant, right? And then you play that energy out enough, you could be in a little puny body and scare someone who go to Planet Fitness 10,000 years and they're a boxer, yet they wouldn't even lift a finger towards you, and then make up something else. Oh, I just didn't want to hurt you, or oh, I just didn't want to do this, oh, I didn't want to, all kind of shit. Your spirit is in a space of power. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit in a space of power. You know what I'm saying? You ever heard of small man syndrome and shit like that? Okay, that's the scientific method. The things that the spirit is going through, though, is what I'm talking about. So just them being in a smaller body compared to other people, if they're trying to prove things, that's just one thing. They're going through the physical experiences, but it's pushing their spirit to experience things that they've been going through even before this cycle. That's in that same stimuli. That once upon a time, their spirit was forced to be in a situation of stop looking at themselves as small mentally. And even if they was alive, they went through a lot of those experiences. So now they picked the right situation to be in to force them. So even if they was born and they probably was a little shorter than everybody else, and they see that they could get bullied on and stuff like that, the spirit like it is getting out of a hell in that way. These is ways how you know how people get out of hell. Everything is a hell, but you could be in some long version of it. You know, you want to do organ expansion, not organ implosion. So when you're coming with something that look like it could be something that people automatically look like they got the ones up on you, you're going through a small hell. You took advantage of something. Once in the blue moon, maybe not this lifetime, but your spirit has the ability of, you took advantage of something, and or you didn't, or you allowed something too much. The very same thing that you take advantage and do to others, you get the same energy back of how much you allow that to be done to you if it's negative. So it's the same circumstance. You know what I'm saying? So even if you was pushed around a lot, even if you was big, you get put in a small body. Your spirit create a small body this time, but you'll run away from any situation that made you feel like anything, even when in a previous lifetime you was in a bodybuilding body, but you was always making excuses when someone was punking you, right? So for the most part, you'll be your spirit will be like, all right, we got this machine. We got to run away from anything to get up out of this hell, and we just got up out of a hell to be born again. Man, let's fight. I don't give a fuck if they see us the smallest thing ever. We dragons in our mind, and then we gonna make motherfuckers believe it. And you might get so deep in that spiritually, the things you dive in to think you have to do, you wouldn't even have to do. The little effort that you have to do make people believe it. You'll be surprised to yourself, like, damn, I made this person shut the fuck up. Shit, I was like in fear of my life, but I just built up a whole bunch of motivation that like whatever happens, happens. You didn't even have to go through half of that shit. The motherfucker just shut the fuck up. They start thinking like, well, this motherfucker might know something I don't know, or be able to do something I don't know. They doesn't let me go ahead and leave this motherfucker alone. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. You got the power. You got the power. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. The power. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit. What's that karate movie called where he had the little Jamaican kid? Well, all movies about immigration and migration. I just started to realize that every music video, every movie about everything. Everything is about the same shit we see on Fox News and CBS and NBC, you know. Shout them out. Yay. So there's a lot of things you see. You know what I'm saying? You might want to go, connect with a bird. Like I got mad videos like 10 years ago teaching y'all how to talk to animals and stuff like that and how to connect with them. And it may not necessarily be y'all way of getting lost into a dialect, so you think things speak like language all the time and speak out. But when you understand being sensitive to the senses, and you're understanding the characteristics of what you're interacting with, then you can start to understand how it's doing things and then match that better because you're in a more evolved mental and organ structure. So you will be able to come down a notch and do some shit that you already did for you to have extra artillery for you to be evolved. Right. And then therefore you're tapped back into nature and you're able to raise birds, and birds will be able to teach you something, and a whole bunch of other animals and shit, and black squirrels and all kind of shit. Y'all be seeing all this. I had a whole animal farm and stuff like that. Y'all be seeing mine. There's always some unique shit too. The cat with all the look like it got on all white socks, but it's a great cat. Y'all see all the red cardinals, the blue jays. It'll never be no normal animal when I be outside. Outside, lucky it's cold right now. You know what I'm saying? But it'll never. That's always something unique. I'll never have no normal shit around me. And if it's gonna be crows, it's gonna be like 1,000 crows in the sky just circling around me. And shit like that. It'll never be something just simple like how other people will just be. So that let me know the spiritual space I'm in is non-simplicity. So the mental forms is only dealing with all the other spirits that's there, mental forms. So the timing I be on. And then when I go live, I put y'all on my time if you watch me. So you're able to always see that. You're able to always see either a black squirrel or you know what I'm saying? Some unique shit. You hearing it right? You know what I'm saying? Put y'all in my world. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker. But yeah, that's how you see things within the atmosphere. I think I'm gonna leave this live stream up too. I'm gonna leave these 2 live streams up today. And then start building more on the Patreon and other pages and stuff like that too, because it's the new year and stuff. And put up the petition. I mean, why I keep saying petition like I'm going against something. The documentation and stuff like that, just for the nation. So there's could be some documented actual paperwork, if that mean anything. So I'm just learning to watch who ways and stuff like that. Hey, paperwork must mean something. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I got it. It look dope application and stuff like that, and put everybody in order. And and I don't want it to sound like that, like I'm putting everybody in order or whatever like that. It's just a leeway so everybody can speak. But when your creativity can be respected. We don't want nobody's creativity being disrespected. That's all. Like when something's brand new coming, and let's just say you the face of it, and stuff like that. All right. You want to be in the luxury of that, right? You want to know that 7 years down the line, as far as generations, that your kid can actually remember or the people that you are a part of can actually remember, oh, okay, I had something to do with that. So even if they didn't physically have something to do with that, we are the same people, and we're going to need the spirits that's coming after us in our same cycle to be fucking. So when you on this washing machine cycle, right, you got someone that probably didn't put the labor, but they know they was a part of you even before they brought you back. But we know these the things, whether they was the specific one or someone else in the crowd, and therefore this how we keep ourselves intact, and things of that nature. So the children could be like, damn, this is what my forefathers and fore aunties and mothers did and grandparents did and shit like that. I am them, even if I'm not the specific spirit. I might be the brand new one and something like that, so I can uphold it. Then they give birth to you, and then it's the same thing. The things that they was upholding is part of their creation too. Then the cycle remains. You know what I'm saying? Then, boom, you get the brain numb back, and then we keep this going. You know what I'm saying? We keep this motherfucker shit going for good 2,000 years, 4,000 years. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Other people get to do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Other people get to do stuff like that. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Real shit. But and it's important too to know what kind of spirits you're bringing out here. You want to make as multiple spirits like me come here. So even though there may be a lot of other individuals that might be like, we need no more damn engines. But at the same time, so we're bringing beautiful stuff in the world. We ain't bringing war, we ain't bringing feisty energy or none of that goddamn shit. Beautiful shit in the world. And even when it comes to technology, science, and everything of that nature that's evolved, even talking about mentally and what creates the actual physical form in the first place, everything can become evolved and in this much more natural state, to the point that even when we're currently living, we're coming up with better ways. Pardon me, to currently live. And look at it like this. It could be as simple as an esoteric mental drug that help you. Motivation. Qualities like this make you feel better or think better as a spirit, having those experiences as thoughts and feelings that you could call better, to make you to motivate you to get up tomorrow and the day after and the day after. You know what I'm saying? Think about when something become outdated, but there's some new added thing that got something to do with your interest, right? It motivates you to go harder for it. So for the most part, that's a new atmosphere that's the starting of it. We got to keep that going, and we all trying to get to heaven. I don't want nobody going to hell. That's why I come up here and talk as much as I talk. So even when y'all hear me say Washi Who and White Man and I think like, that's me helping them too. You know what I'm saying? And it don't matter how I'm saying it. I'm an Aries, bitch. I'm allowed to say however I like to say things. But goddamn it, y'all know I ain't out here like no goddamn it people who murderers and things of that nature and shit like that and all this other flunk that ass shit. That in all actuality y'all is. But at the same time, but yay, we need to just understand what the hell going on and keep a track of all this. You know how you came from the sky or the atmosphere, however you want to call it, and now since you're here, you know what you're bringing. You know what I'm saying? So this keep you in a healthy rotation, and this help you stop bringing negligence down here and only bring legacy type spirits down here and things of that nature, because you want to be laid on a platform or a foundation where you could, boast in a legacy, have the luxury of a legacy and stuff like that, where you don't have to worry or have other people feel sorry for you due to the fact of your circumstances that you're in, or you're in jail, or you got this many responsibilities or situations, stuff like that, but there's no actual thing to participate in. And it's kind of like that too, especially when we get into these gender wars and stuff, especially when it comes to females and stuff. What's actually going on is just nothing for no females to do. If it was something for females to do that they can do, it wouldn't be so much shiesty energy that we hear a lot of feminists express and things of that nature, and then we don't have no good solutions on how to go about these things. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing for a woman to be in some shiesty energy, then it's another thing for God.gov to not even put men in a situation to even have a female even have that successful in some way, shape, or form. Because men ain't in no situation to just be giving everything that a woman won't, just for her to be second questioning shit and use and abuse shit. And then for a female to even think this the best way of her to get something, and that's because it's lack of things for her to even do. So the things that she thinks she have to do to survive is be shiesty to the man, and a man is in a situation of God.gov being shiesty to him and taking all of his cultures and things of that nature. So we just in some type of limbo right now where we think the fight or gender wars at least. Y'all think the fight is with each other, but in all actuality, it's just the conditions everyone is placed in and things of that nature. Where God.gov is starting to see all the old shifts outdated, so they got to recoup. So they doing what they do, and a lot of people may have to be sacrificed from their tax dollars to get it done. That got means and reasons behind it. We don't know, only they know. Then that trickle down into the situation you in as a man. So then you might start thinking that females is asking for too much or wanting too much, or hypergamy and expectations is one area. So you think that's what something need to be argued with. Then a female might be in a situation where she has nothing to do, yet she still have female hormones. So she still want to get fucked. She still want to be in a relationship to think about if she want to be in it or not 6 months later, and all this type of shit, and be giving everything to her just like how her father probably did or something like that. But at the same time, none of us are even in that situation. The female, you're not in that situation. You have to do things that you fought for to be a feminist in the first place, or to feel like you're a boss bitch. Men have to rebuild in the middle of being stopped from rebuilding and things of that nature. And currently what they built, God.gov is in some recouping energy right now. So they need your tax money, whether they give a fuck about your business or not. And then God.gov in a situation of trying to figure out what they're going to do with all of us and everybody in limbo. So figuring out new programs. So then that come out of latency. That come out of delay. So and we all delayed. I'm saying it's some goddamn shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think we crying about the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? I think we need to look at the little that we do have and start to emphasize on that, which is our creativity and things of that nature, and just create value systems around it. And then when shifts and phases and new experiences and stargates and portals open up, aka just experiences, we got enough back pockety energy that even if we did it so large on a mass scale, on a percentage level, right, we probably could duplicate and even develop some new money in our face on it. Now I'm just over exaggerating right there, but I'm just saying, right, that's how broad it could probably be. Where, you know, even if it comes into politicians and things of that nature, there's new voices that may need to be had. And they not people being put as puppets and voodoo dolls to speak for individuals who have already built the energy to get attention to, for there to even be considered. There need to be a new talking point where really, no, you just need new voices. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So, and that's where it comes to also. Because can't nobody speak for the people better than the actual people. You know what I'm saying? And the actual people know when they're getting talked to by someone that's not of them, but being put in some voodoo doll clothing and cloths to appear to be like they're part of us and stuff like that. So a lot of times we have to second question it. We really don't know what's going on. And then we don't even feel like we're a part of anything anyway. Then when it comes time to even having time to be distracted with our creativity and stuff like that, we never can be. We're too distracted with a whole bunch of other shit. And then for the most part, there's an eradication and genocide on new gold being brought into the world, new creativity being brought in the world, new money being able to be made off of and stuff like that, new things that a template could be made out of and we could run for the next 300 years that people could get rich off of and stuff like that. All of that is fading away. All of that is fading away. So when it comes into movies, technology, astrology, astronomy, they switching up math and stuff now, but it's getting ready to become unmotivational energies and outdated, and we already been there and done that. And how many times is we going to redo Batman? How many times is we going to redo Superman? You know what I'm saying? So you got, that's like as simple as that and shit like that. It don't matter what universe, what person, subjective concept they get ready to make. It's still Superman. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, it was about time to Superman. About time for Pilot Man. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we got to keep these in mind. And when we start to look at things that's playing out in the atmosphere, it's going to tell us that we're in a new phase, because we all have a new imaginations about what we already motivated to do. And what we already motivated to do, a lot of it is being debunked before we even express it. We start to be like, oh, this is stupid. I can't say that anymore. We even see a lot of Christians right now, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature, say, oh, well, yeah, I ain't no Christian, but I believe in Jesus Christ. That's just their spirit going into the atmosphere and saying, oh, yeah, you're retarded a little bit, and other spirits floating around and shit like that. And then a person with their original thought still having to compare and contrast and be like, well, I still like my original thought, just these other ideas that just poked holes in this other part of my original thought. Well, I probably don't need that. Yeah, I probably don't need that. Then you're going through experiences that show you, yeah, you didn't need it. And then a lot of other, it's showing you how previous experiences, how you probably never needed it also too. So it's like, you're just being awakened. You know what I'm saying, right now. So eventually you're going to go through another layer and say, damn, the hell with Jesus Christ too, and shit like that. So before it even get there, I'm just putting you ahead of time. You don't want to allow it to get there like some Pluto energy, When you don't transform yourself, you allow it to transform things for you, and it might be at a time that you ain't ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So you might manifest a portal or a stargate, aka an experience, when it is time for you to be aware, but it hit you at a time you're not ready, and it might lead you to do some strange things for a piece of change to obtain the things on your brain, or make you do some hasty shit. You know what I'm saying? Make you react and respond in a way that's negligent, that could have been dealt with in a lot more better way if you was prepared, or at least aware. You know what I'm saying? Or at least had some honesty that was there, as so no matter how harsh it is, at least you could develop your stimuli, so when you jump into a new space and you start interacting with other stimuli, you don't be in distress. You don't be into all my life I had to fight, aka that type of spiritual space. The form you in, mental form, will bend in a physical form and create chaos. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. But yeah, so let me go ahead and get to these things, and we are 20 minutes in. But yeah, this is how you see things in the atmosphere, and it goes deep into this. It's a lot of stories you can break down and stuff like that, especially when it comes to Native American stories and stuff. We got them for days. You know what I'm saying? But this gives you the starting point, so you can develop these type of spiritual natures to know what you're dealing with, so you're not acting a monster or getting misguided on your original direction, and then for the most part, get motivated to make a mistake, even if you was doing something for God, but you got lost in all the other spirits and forms, mixing it with your form, creating all kind of imaginations that been in and became your action, that actually allowed you to get bit by the alligator, bit by the snake, hit by the bear, hit by the baboon. Now you ain't got nothing to bring back to the village, but goddamn bruises and broken bones. You know what I'm saying? So think about it. We both on our path, and we both hunting. You thinking about you just getting cheated on. So, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Then we both in the spiritual space. They got other shit in the spiritual space adding on to it. Now you imagining how she sounded when she was getting fucked and stuff. Like, you get all these other ideas from other spirits that went through the same thing you went through, because y'all in the same spiritual space. Me and you in the same physical space. I need you here, man. I need you here, man. We hunting, man. I need you here. You know what I'm saying? And you might fuck around and get killed or hurt and get a broken bone. But I'm the only one who came back with the meat. You know what I'm saying? Pause, no homo. But goddamn it, we killed the baboon. And goddamn it, now we getting ready to get some deer clothing and stuff like that in the village, and all the women can eat that night when we fry it. But at the same time, you ain't did shit but allow what mental space you was in to go through the filter system of other spirits that match the space you was in, to create imaginations in your mind atmosphere that bend in and become your environment, that you shared with me, being in a different space, creating a different spaceship mentality that I acted out in my anatomy, that got me successful in the situation and got your bones broke and got you hit by the baboon and shit like that. And you're like, oh, I couldn't get that stuff off my mind and stuff like that. As a spirit, and being inside of your mind, you put a whole bunch of shit on it and you couldn't get it off of it, aka dirtiness. Things from a whole bunch of different areas, substances that didn't belong on a substance that you developed when we were supposed to come here naked with just ourselves. That first original thought. Don't catch no cloudy judgments. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Bottom of my heart. Flight boss, bitch, you know. For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal RJJ Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Shout out to all my United States of walking talkians. Woo!